The video for class 11 and the topic which we are starting today is conservative and non-conservative forces. So the first and foremost line for this topic is what? Conservative forces are and non-conservative forces are only dependent on one thing, that is path. If the force which is path independent can be called it as conservative forces, and the forces which is path dependent can be called as non-conservative force. Means what? If suppose let me draw one point. Let us suppose there are two places, and point A and point B. Okay, and if we suppose we want to move a object from point A to the point B, so how many possible kind of ways or possible kind of path which is possible? Number one path which is very straight to us, which is known as the shortest path, it can be called as this one. Second thing, we can take any curvical path, we can take semicircular path, or we can take very zigzag motion path. Okay, so let me call this as path number 2, this let me call this path number 3, and let me call this as path number 4. So means, if you can see, or if you will get, we will also prove this, if the work done, if taking a object from point A to the point B, if work done of first path is equal to the second path and is equals to the third path and is equals to the fourth path. If this condition we are getting, so this kind of force which is applicable here, if the object is moving from point A to point B and the work done in all the four cases are equal to each other in the magnitude wise, so in that case that force can be called it as conservative force. And if suppose we are getting the work done is not equal to work done 2 and not equals to 3 and neither equals to 4. Okay, so if this kind of case we are getting, so that kind of force can be called as non-conservative forces. So basically this was the nutshell about the conservative and non-conservative force concept. And now what we will do, we will prove this thing. Okay, how we can say that the force can be conservative or the force can be non-conservative. So the best example for the conservative and the best example for the non-conservative, let us discuss this also, then we will start the proof. The best example for the conservative forces we are having in our daily life is a gravitational force. Okay, the gravitational force can be called it as the best example for the conservative force, and the best example for the non-conservative force is also in front of us, that is known as frictional force. Okay, so the frictional force is called as a non-conservative force, where the gravitational force is also is called as uh, conservative force. There are other examples for the non-conservative forces are also one example you can write down as tension as well. Another example you can write down in this is electrostatic force. Okay, this is also an example for the non-conservative force. Rest this example, one more example is there, that is the spring force. You can see, okay, spring force is also a conservative force, gravitational force is also conservative force. So how we will prove, we will take these two forces into the consideration and we will prove how the gravitational force used to do the conservative work done, and non frictional force used to do non-conservative thing. So let me pause and make the diagram and then we will discuss. If you can see here, I have drawn the four path of the object through which I can raise the object from point A to the point B. One first diagram you can see it is a very straight path. Second diagram you can see that we have taken an inclined plane. Third diagram you can see that I have taken a path which is a staircase kind of. And the fourth diagram you can see that I have taken a curvical way. So one by one we will see the work done by the force or work done against the force, it is coming equal in every case or not. If it comes equal in every case, means we can say the work done during path 1 w1 is equals to w2 is equals to w3 is equals to w4. If you are able to get this point, then we can say that the gravitational force is a conservative force. So let us start with the object 1, diagram 1. So work done in this case can be called it as the force, okay, and into the displacement. Or we can say, if you I will take the cos theta term in a very general way, so I can take that fs cos theta formula. So let us take fs cos theta formula because it is the general formula for the work done. Now what is w is equals to force applied, that is equal to the equal in magnitude to the mg but in opposite to the nature. And in this all the diagrams, what we will do, we will apply we are finding the work done which is against the gravitational force. Okay, so since we are onto the work done which is against the gravitational force, so we will take the force which is against to the gravitational force. So here I am not writing minus mg, but instead of I am writing mg because we are using the term force applied against the gravitational force. So it is already against, so minus minus will be cancelled out, so we are taking mg. Now what is the displacement? Displacement is h. Now what is the cos theta? The angle between the displacement and the force, since it is 0, so it will be cos 0 will be 1. So here I am taking cos 0 is equals to 1. So what is the work done in the first case? I am getting mgh. So this was very simple. I guess we already had done in our 9th class. Now let us focus on this point. Suppose our body was initially at point A and wants to reach to the point B. Suppose in between any time we have to find out how much is the work done in this case. So first of all, in this I have to resolve all the forces which are right now acting in this part. Somewhere this here will be our mg, and here will be our normal reaction, and one force will be here, that is balancing, and the force which I am applying will be in this direction. Okay, and if suppose this is mg, so this will be the angle of repose, this is theta, because this inclined plane is inclined at an angle theta. So this component will become mg cos theta, and this component will become mg sin theta. Okay, so these are the number of forces which are acting right now. Now what I have to find out? I have to find out the work done. In this case this is w2. Now force into the displacement into the cos theta term. Okay, so this is the general formula. Now second figure shows the body being taken along the smooth inclined plane. Okay, which is suppose it is this. Okay, and let me name a b c, let me name this point. Okay, so this is the AB is the inclined plane of height. Suppose height I am taking as h. Okay, and the inclination angle which I am taking as theta. So it is very clear from the figure, the force applied, that is F is equals to, will be equal to mg sin theta, because these two forces are balancing each other, but the force which we are taking is against the gravitational force. So it is very obvious, F I will take as mg sin theta. So it is now one thing is being done. And the second thing, the distance move along the direction in the force. Okay, we have to take the displacement. So how we will get the displacement in this case? So displacement we will be getting, suppose I am right now I am not don't know what is displacement, so I am naming this concept as AB. Now what is the cos theta here? Okay, so since this is a triangle, so what is the formula of the triangle I can use? The formula of the triangle I can use here, that is cos theta term. Okay, so cos theta term I don't know basically. Okay, and since the angle between the displacement, okay, and the force, if you can see, theta is what? The force which we the force and the displacement angle, and in this case it is both similar, so I can write down here cos 0. And the thing which I don't know here is AB. Okay, so but the thing I can change, I can find out the sin theta angle from here, so it will be equals to mg. What is sin theta? It is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, so I can write down h upon hypotenuse, that is AB, and multiply by AB. So ABC AB cancel. Ultimately what is the work done I am getting? I am getting mgh. So this is the work done in the second case. So now it is the turn of the third work done, that is w3. W3 you can see that there are two types of displacement in this case. Okay, one work done will be in the horizontal direction, and one work done will be in the vertical direction, if you can see. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to calculate the total work done. Okay, one in the horizontal direction as well, and one into the vertical direction. So I am dividing the work done in two parts, one in vertical and one in horizontal. Okay, now some of the things which I need to consider here are, okay, suppose the step height of each step is suppose s dash, and the width of each step is suppose x, and suppose there are n number of steps. Okay, so work done in horizontal and the work done in vertical can be divided in this way. So if we are talking about the horizontal direction, okay, suppose let us start with the vertical. If we are talking about the vertical, first of all I have to multiply the whole formula with the n, because there are n steps. So I am just writing this part, yes, n into work done in the vertical component and work done in the horizontal component. So n multiply by work done into vertical component, so that will be force into displacement into cos theta. So force I am writing mg, because every time mg will be working there, and what is the displacement in the vertical component side. So what is displacement? That is h dash. Okay, and what is the angle between them? And since the displacement is also in the perpendicular direction and the force is also applied in the perpendicular direction, so our cos theta will become cos 0. That is the vertical component. Now if I will talk about the work done in the horizontal way, so work done into horizontal way can be written as mg is the force, and what is the displacement in the horizontal direction? That is x. And what is the angle between the displacement and the force? Since the force is always opposite, matlab perpendicular to the gravitational force, so the angle between them is cos 90. Okay, so this whole term will become 0 because our cos 90 is 0, so this whole term will become 0. So ultimately what I am getting, mg into cos 0 is 1, so I am writing 1, and what is left, n into h dash. So if you can see, if there are n number of turns, n number of stairs, and there are the height of each stair is h dash, so can I write down n into h dash should be equals to the complete height, that is h. So ultimately if I want to write down, here I am writing since no space is there, so can I write down w3 we are getting as mgh, because n into h dash will become h. So ultimately work done I am getting in the third case as well is also a mgh. Okay, so in all the three cases, if you can see that I have got the for magnitude of the work done at every time we are getting the mgh. And now this is the turn for the fourth part, that is if the suppose the curve is the path which we have taken is a curvicle. Suppose now the last diagram shows that the body is being carried out through some height ab. Suppose the height of ab is h, okay, over an arbitrary zigzag path. So this path can be supposed to be made of a large number of infinitely small horizontal displacements, suppose that is dx, and vertical displacement suppose as dy. So means this displacement can be covered. Suppose this, if this is the resultant, so this can be the resultant of the two types of component. One can be written as a d, suppose in the x direction, the horizontal way it is dx, and in the vertical way suppose it is dh. So it can be written as this path can be made up of very large number of infinitely small horizontal displacements as well as vertical displacement. So in this case, if I want to find out the work done, so that can be written as the summation of mg into the if I will talk about the vertical component, so it will be dh. Okay, and multiply by the cos angle, what is that is 0. Okay, because the force is also applied in the perpendicular direction, the displacement is also happening in the perpendicular direction. Similar way it is can be written as summation of mg into dx, that is the small displacement in the horizontal direction, and the angle between them is 90 degree, so it can be written as cos 90. So this whole term will become again 0 because there is a cos 90 term. So ultimately how much work done I am getting? I am getting w4 is equals to mg, and this is the summation. The summation of the dh can be written, yes, let me write here, the summation of dh can be written as h. Okay, so here summation of dh I am writing directly as h. So our work fourth formula is also coming mgh. So means I can say that at every time I am getting w2, w1 is also was also mgh, and the w2 is also mgh, and the w3 I got was also mgh, and similar way w4 I got is also mgh. So in this way we can prove that gravitational force is a conservative force because it is path independent. It only depends on the initial and the final points. So that's all about the conservative forces. In the next diagram, in the next video, we will study about non-conservative forces.